Hello coaches and welcome to Give and Go Live. My name's David Newberry and I'm joined by Ian Barker. Hello Ian.
Hi David, pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So Ian, today's session is defending in pairs and threes, and this is an activity that, although our focus is on defending today, certainly could be on attacking as well. And the setup, we have a square. In this case it's 20 by 20, but you can make that whatever size you want. You could even go to a rectangle or other shapes. We have 4 corner goals that are offset from the end, giving some space about a yard or 2 from the sideline. And then we have 5 attackers, 4 on the periphery and 1 in the center against 2 defenders. And the objective of the defenders is to deny the pass to the target player that is situated at the other end of the area. And as we can see here, the idea is for the player on the ball to pass to the target by using either the peripheral players and or using the center player. And for the defenders, their objective is to win possession and then score in any one of the 4 goals. So if the Blues win it, they now have a 2v1 in the center, and the players on the outside, the peripheral players, now can move to defend the goals, depending on, of course, which direction the blue team decides to attack. So Ian, let's talk about some of the methodology we might use in this type of activity.
Yeah, so what I like about this activity is there's quite an interesting set of challenges for the 2 defenders, so my 2 blue players here. Clearly, when the ball is played into the grid, into the target player or the combination player in here, they must be ready to pressure the ball and try to win the ball, dispossess, and then hopefully counter to one of the goals. If, however, the ball is on the outside of the grid where they can't go and win it, their challenge now is to deny the forward pass. So as the defending pair, their challenges are not simply just to race after the ball, but sometimes to try to win the ball and sometimes to deny the penetrating pass. If we were to see the ball, for example, go from the server to the periphery, clearly this player has to recover. So now he probably needs to get deep, or she needs to get deep, and now work in combination with their teammate and discuss these notions of communication, who's pressing the ball, who's covering the space, and all the time their primary objective is to deny the pass to the target player. So if they can keep play in front of them with the 2 periphery players and the server, they will have achieved their objective, and they will do that in tandem.
So as you can see on this diagram now, the ball has gone wide to one of the peripheral players, and that player has now a couple of options. Option A is to play directly to the target player, and if they go around the periphery and one of the peripheral players plays to the target, they get 1 point, or slightly more risky, play into the central player who can then play into the target, and that's worth 2 points. Of course, by emphasizing the importance of playing inside, now we're giving our defenders the opportunity to win possession and move into pressure and cover roles. Ian, this certainly isn't an activity with the peripheral players that is game realistic, so can you talk about maybe how we would modify it to make it more game realistic in sequence 2?
Yeah, so certainly you could start this activity where allowing the server and the periphery players to come in. So it's actually a live 3v2 in the middle of the activity, and the only player who is required to be outside would be the target, who of course can move left and right to make him or herself available. So that would be an option for you. But actually what I like here in this scenario, the way that David has painted it, is that the first thing you've got to be thinking about as the coach is they want to score. So their periphery player wants to hit their target player. So the challenge for the first defender, the person along the line of option A here, is to position themselves to deny the most opportunist and obvious point of goal. So they're really in a denying type mentality. Now we're looking at this player, and of course, we can't ask the first defender to deny and delay indefinitely. So now we have to really encourage the second defender to make their recovery run. And their options here are to deny the pass into the target. So now the periphery player, or into the center player, excuse me. So the periphery player has no options, no passing options, with the exception of probably going backwards. So if the two can work in tandem to slow things up and encourage the Reds to have to play more passes, then the two have done their job, because obviously in the real game, they'd be getting increasing numbers of recovering players. So this is all about deny and delay as a pair.
And the other point here, Ian, is that we could, of course, add a little bit more game realism by adding a third defender into the central area. And that would then permit us to allow the peripheral players just to step inside and create essentially a 4 versus 3 in the main area of the area. Let's talk about the final sequence, sequence 3. And as this play is developed, option A was the choice of the peripheral player on the right-hand side. And the good news from a defending perspective is the Blues have now won possession, and through a combination has released their partner, who has then decided to score in the left-hand goal. So that has ended up with a fair result for the blue team, who have worked hard defensively to cut out and deny the pass, and then have scored themselves. In the last methodology side.
Yeah, so this is the key to everything. So if we're going to be working, helping these two young players improve their defending organization, technique and tactics of tandem defending, we also have to give them incentives to be successful. So in this case, they have the opportunity to score. It may be that after they've won the ball, those two come out of the grid and two new defenders come in, so they get a break. But you have to find that incentive for them. The other thing here that we really need to appreciate, when we see the interception of the pass from the periphery player, the attempted pass, and we see how the defender, the blue, has now immediately played a pass to his or her teammate, who has then dribbled and then shot at goal. So what we've actually got here is a really clear example of transition, which is something as coaches we struggle sometimes to teach or emphasize, but everything in this activity should have both sides of the ball. So as the Reds try to build an attack, the Blues try to deny, but if the Blues do win it, now they become the team that is transitioning onto the offense. And of course, as demonstrated here or diagrammed here, the Reds are now transitioning to try to prevent that goal. And so this notion of transition is something we really want to make sure is getting into the activity sooner than later.
Well, thanks very much, coaches, for joining us on this edition of Give and Go Live, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.